we have a very special what we call mini, which means a brief prophetic message on a phrase that you are beginning to hear quite extensively on social media and now on the news. Many people, however, don't understand what this phrase actually means. It's a phrase called the global reset. You're going to be hearing more and more about this, especially if new candidate that will become the next president, as this system and the party that he is connected with are a part of what I'm about to share. Sharing this with you because we believe it has a strong prophetic implication rooted in the books of Daniel and Revelation regarding the concept of a global reset that men in the business and corporate worlds, and even world leaders, are calling for. Now, first of all, let me explain to you just a little bit about, we say, Prophecy 101. In Daniel chapter 2, King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream of a metallic image, the head of gold. The head was of gold, and the chest and arms were made of silver. The thighs were brass. There were 2 legs that were all of iron, and then, when it came down to the 2 feet and the 10 toes, it became a mixture of clay and iron. Now, without going into the history of who these empires are represented by in these metals, the one that we are interested in is not just the 2 legs, which is the split of the Roman Empire between Eastern and Western Rome, or Rome, Italy, and what became known as Constantinople, which is located in Turkey. But it's to it that we're interested in. We are specifically interested in the 2 feet, each of which has 10 toes. Now we know from the book of Revelation that John and Daniel both saw a beast with 10 horns and 7 heads. The 7 heads were major empires of Bible prophecy, all the way up to a 7th empire that would exist at the time of the early stages of the Great Tribulation. And that's what I want to show you here in this global reset, or the theory of a global reset. Throughout my childhood, I often heard prophetic teachings about the 10 kings, but they rarely discussed the 2 feet. This is because each foot has 5 toes, symbolizing the East and the West. The iron and the clay can actually represent, in our time, communism, the Iron Curtain, the iron hammer of the iron sickle of communism, and the clay democracy. Even one of the early church fathers talked about the clay and Daniel being democracy, so there is this mingling of us as Americans going into communist China and doing business with them. Although John says they were existing in his vision, and of course his vision was referring to the future, not something happening back in his day. I'm sorry, that's a misprint on my part. It's Revelation, chapter, I believe, 17, verse 11. Here is the mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. 7 kings also exist. 5 have fallen, 1 is the other, and the other has not yet arrived. When he comes, he must continue for a short space. The beast that wasn't is not. He's the 8th and one of the 7 kingdoms, but he'll go into perdition, what the Greeks call destruction. Now let me just make this real simple for people that are new to prophecy. In this vision, there are 5 empires that have fallen. I can name them biblically: Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Media, Persia, and Greece. There's a possibility that a global tax will impose itself on the United States. It's possible the United States will have gun laws passed that are more like what Europe has. 2 security guards, one of whom was a former Navy SEAL, accompanied me to preach in England. It's important to note that he wasn't a SEAL like those in the United States, but rather a member of the British Navy SEALs. We wanted to rectify this, as he could potentially kill someone with a single blow. Now, we wouldn't want to kill anybody, but was going to preach in a very controversial area, so I asked him, "Where are your weapons?" They said, "We have none." Now, the idea of what we're hearing now is called the global reset. So we looked this up on their own information to say, what does it consist of? We want to introduce you to 3 components of this concept. Again, we don't know yet. The vote's not been certified. But I'm saying if they get in, they are part of the reset program. That's what I'm trying to say. Number 4 is to make a new industrial revolution. And Hillary Clinton was talking about this the other day. You might as well mark this down. It's going to happen. The globalists will have their way and have, if I can express it this way, the puppets, which are the politicians, but there's the puppet masters, which are the high-level multi-billionaire globalists. And they've planned this for a long time, and it was interrupted for the past years by the president, and that's a known fact. Their hatred for him is open because he was a nationalist, pro-American, and put America first, which globalists cannot handle. God himself is the only one who truly knows where this is headed, but trust me, if God spoke it and the prophets predicted it, it will indeed come to pass. Follow the Bible text. We only have a few copies of the Eighth Kingdom books left because we've been offering them over the years, and people have really embraced them for their in-depth prophecy study